Yes, hello everyone and welcome to the On the Pine podcast. Melrose got a big special today, mate. Welcome back.
Always great to be here, Nashi.
We talked about it last week on the podcast and we're just going to have a big segment special today. Clearing out the sport. It's been a long time since we've properly done what's grinded your gears and the society whack for myself.
No, very true. It's definitely due.
How big is the notes on your phone?
It's quite large. Like for anyone watching on YouTube, you can sort of see there that there's a few things on there.
There's a bit going on.
So yeah, look, I mean, it's dating back to about probably March 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So sort of when COVID sort of hit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the list has just grown. We haven't really had a chance to sort of dive into it and sort of see what's been sort of getting under my skin and pissing me off.
Well, COVID obviously provided plenty.
Yep.
And since post-COVID, I feel like there would have been plenty as well because, you know, everyone's back out and about again. So you're back into normal life and what usually pisses you off, which is plenty.
Well, I mean, there was a lot of sort of coronavirus-related things that would annoy. I think it sort of everyone could agree, things that, you know, annoyed all of us. We're going to sort of steer clear of those because I feel like everyone's sort of...
they're generic now.
They're generic,
mainstream.
Yeah. So, yeah, but as you said, we're back into the sort of somewhat normality at the moment, which has been great. But, yeah, obviously that brings some things that grind my gears.
Well, mate, we'll throw it to you. We'll get you started because I feel like you got plenty to get off your chest. And I just want to... Mate, the floor is yours.
Yeah.
How about it?
So, well, what do we want to start with? Some sport or some everyday
Mate,
or everything?
up to you.
Anything?
What do you feel?
Mind?
What comes to mind first? What really has grinded your gears the most?
Okay.
You take the floor.
I mean, like, obviously there's a lot of things. I'll start with a classic, though, that we did sort of briefly touch on, I think, in one of our episodes that didn't go live. And that is animals having Instagram accounts.
Yeah. Yep.
So this may have made the airways. I don't remember, but that's definitely on the list. I hate it when someone gets a pet and suddenly they've got an Instagram account. The dog doesn't have the phone. So the dog isn't posting things. Yeah. I actually have a mate that I'm going to call out here that he knows who he is if he listens to this. Mm-hmm. Now, he told me that he got a brand new border collie, which I knew. But then what he told me was he set up an Instagram account for it. Now, the catch was he would go to the park and he'd find a girl walking her dog and she would say, "Oh, how cute your dog, what's his name or what's her name?" Anyway, next thing you go, "Oh, just this is the Instagram account, so give him a follow."
Uh-huh.
Now, what George would do, well, that's George. So I've named him.
Put him out there.
Yeah, okay, so what George would do is jump on there and see who's followed the dog. And then, that chick's fit. Okay, we'll give her a follow back.
Little follow back.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little slide in the DMs.
There's a bit going on here with these animals and these pet sort of Instagrams.
I'm not going to lie. I don't mind it from George.
It's not a bad call. It's a smart sort of way of sort of doing things. But, yeah, look, I've got another mate that's got a pet rabbit. Snooks the rabbit.
No, come on.
And, that's got Instagram as well. So that was sort of the final straw for me. Sort of saw that and that was it.
Yeah.
So...
I agree. I'm not a huge fan of it.
Well, because Nala's got one.
Nala's got one. I do fucking love that dog though.
Yeah.
And she's got cute photos. But a rabbit?
No.
Nah.
And then when they start pulling out fish?
No, come on now. No one gives a fuck about your fish.
Exactly.
Dogs,
Half-sea dogs.
If we're gonna cop it, which we're gonna have to, dogs is where we draw the line. That's it.
Right.
Don't bring in your cats. I don't want to see a cat. No one likes cats.
Some can be okay. You'd be surprised though. Obviously,
I'm not a cat person.
Well, I work at Pet Barn. There's a lot of dogs that come in and cats that come in that actually have Instagrams.
Yeah, you'd see plenty of that actually.
I do see a lot of that. So to me, it's not very foreign. I think to be honest, like everyone knows it's around. Mm-hmm. When you see suggested, for example, Nala the GSP, follow, X. I'm not going anywhere near that.
What about, you obviously mentioned a lot of AFL players come into the barn.
Yep.
They'd have a few animal accounts, I feel.
No, they don't. They're switched on.
Are they?
Yeah, they're switched on. Yeah.
So a lot of the boys, they love their dogs.
They do.
Really,
they do. But they get their dogs on the social media
on their own.
But they don't need to have a separate account.
Separate one.
Yeah.
What I wonder what the record is between getting the animal and then having the Instagram account. Like how quick
Well, they skyrocket because you sort
Yeah.
of tag every sort of thing related to the dog that you can think of. And then, you follow every other French bulldog in Melbourne, and the next thing you know, you've got a ton of followers, and then there's sponsors. There's actually one that's done very well that comes into Pet Barn. It's got like 90,000 followers.
Oh,
It's 2 French bulldogs.
okay.
And like they're sponsored and they promote things and stuff. So it's not
Props
just
to
there's
'em.
not just human influencers on Instagram. There's also the dogs of the world.
I like that you've gone to the social media straight away because I've got one.
Yeah, okay.
But this is about people. Okay. Now,
Right.
you've told me that back in the day, peak Melrose, sort of late high school days, you were a big Instagram and Snapchat story
Yes.
poster.
Used to overdo it.
Overdo it big time.
Yep.
So I'll cop that because I used to overdo it a bit as well, but we all did back in the day because
I'd sort
you
of-
just started going out.
Yeah,
and you're like, this is how good's this? I'm out. At
I
the
used to have a
pub.
3-hour-long story on Snapchat
Yeah.
about a mosh pit
I'd be
at
defriending
bloody
you, bro.
Animal House, which is a club that doesn't exist anymore in Glenferrie Road in Hawthorn. And I'd just hammer it with just stories of just different drops that I thought were going to be cool. So I'd start recording, bang, story. Then it'd be one of my mates dancing. So yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
I'm glad we cut that.
but the problem is there's still people doing it and they're our age and older.
Is there? Because I haven't really
well,
come across it as much.
Maybe it's just a Ballarat thing, but it's got to stop.
Yeah, right.
So I was talking to some friends about it on New Year's Eve. When they do the old I'll pan across everyone that I'm
right.
drinking with and the surround, it's like no one really gives a fuck what you're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
No one gives a fuck what I'm doing when I'm drinking with all my friends. Like, I'll copy a good story. Like, if you're at a festival or something, couple of little stories here and there of someone good that's performing, because of course people want to see that shit.
Yeah,
When I'm at home, I don't mind seeing a bit of what's going on at the festival in terms of music because it's good. But no one gives a fuck what you're doing. So stop posting.
Yeah.
All these stories of all your friends dancing and how drunk they are, and who gives a fuck?
I think it's sort of reasonable. Like if there's a really good sort of DJ playing, as you said, there's a good drop coming or something.
Yep.
And everyone's up and about, but just give us 10 to 20 seconds, no more.
Yeah, no more.
Because I made the mistake when I was just started going out, sort of 2016, 2017, of just documenting the whole thing. It was almost as if it was like, my stories went as long as Avatar. Like it was a 3.5 hour ordeal, and people I'd go through who's viewed them all, and you'd tap through and you'd just see the numbers drop
Dwindling
immensely,
quick.
and then you get to about the second hour, and there'd be like 5 people that have sort of sat through it.
And the worst part is now that people do it to take the piss. They're like, we're drinking. But then they all do it so often. It's like, it's not a joke anymore. This is genuine. You want us to know that you are having a beer.
Yep.
Which no one gives a fuck about. So cheers for that.
Fair point.
Whack.
Well, you've just sort of given me another idea here.
That's how we want to do this. Let's bounce off each other. I feel like there's plenty of options
I'll bounce this one off. But Queensland. They are a big annoyance to me during
As
lockdowns.
in the state?
Just the state, yeah.
Yep.
Just
and the people in it?
Just the people in it, yeah. So just sort of like going about it like COVID doesn't exist and all that. And like, to be honest, like we'd all do the same thing. Like if we're allowed to do things, go out, see our mates and all that sort of stuff, we'd do it. I'm not saying that they did anything wrong, but just like 1,000 stories about how they're out for dinner, then they're at a bar, then they're at a club, then they're at someone's house, and you're just sitting at home going, right, another Saturday night of nothing.
Another Saturday night hanging out with the fam.
Which was great.
It was good, but
it got to a point where like you're seeing like bars and clubs and you're going like, oh, geez, I'd love to just get back to one.
Just for a night.
Yeah, just a night.
Just one.
Give us once. Meanwhile, they're out every night.
We couldn't even do this. You couldn't even come over and do the pod.
Get on the podcast. No, couldn't do it.
Yeah, I will give you that.
Well, I'll give you another one then that relates to that. And I think you'll be able to sort of, I guess, relate to this as well in a way. Victorians fleeing to Queensland during COVID.
Yeah, you went about this.
And then returning as soon as everything comes good.
Yeah.
So I said when I saw this sort of stuff going on and, there was a few girls that were sort of seeming to do this. I didn't know as many. I knew a few girls that did it, not as many guys. I actually didn't know any guys that did it. But sort of suddenly, I've got a job. I've got a job up in Queensland. And you're going, okay, all right, that's fine. But don't return when everything comes good.
Correct.
Stay there. I don't want you back. So someone I know got a job up there and it was only meant to be for a few months. But then there was another person I know that, got a job up there and then magically returned. Another person, similar thing. And
Quit the job, do you reckon?
Well, did they ever have a job? That's the thing. I mean, as I said, I don't know the details, but you jump on people's stories and stuff on Instagram and you see like, oh, they've moved up to, a place in Queensland. And then next thing you know, Victoria's out of stage 4, we're out of stage 3. Oh, and they've magically returned.
Back.
I thought you moved.
But then don't you reckon that'd be the classic people that would be like bagging other states for not feeling how Victorians have struggled? It's like, you weren't even here.
Yes.
Don't you talk about it?
I don't like it when they do that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, lockdown's been so hard. Sorry, what?
Bullshit.
You went to Queensland.
Sunny Queensland, not in lockdown.
Yeah.
Life normal.
And as I said, like if you've actually got a job up there and like say you've lost your job in Melbourne, for example, and there's a job opportunity up there and you take it, that's great. No issue. But people that sort of just went up there to sort of live, like already had a job in Melbourne and they've just taken off to Queensland. Don't know about that because there was stuff in the news where like half of Victoria had taken off up to bloody Brisbane. Like, what? Like, guys, like, okay, all right, Victoria's struggling at the moment, but give us a month or two and we'll calm it down. It's not a bad place.
Yeah.
Like, as if, Victoria was suddenly this alien planet. Like, you couldn't sort of stay here. No, had to get out. Like, so.
I'll give you, I heard a few stories from friends of people breaking stage 4 restrictions and having like a person over, but like a different person each time. And I was like, that's super frustrating.
Yeah.
And not what we need in Melbourne right now because I am not having, there's no one coming to our house like, German Tish, no family or anything over ever. Willow was in the hub. Will had his girlfriend, but that was obviously allowed because they were, partners.
Yep.
I had no one. No one ever came over, me by myself. But then you hear people having different people over because like, oh, it's just one person that won't do anything. That's not how it is, bud.
Yeah. No.
So don't be doing that.
No, I'm the same. I was very big on that. I had mates that were doing that as well.
Yep.
Even in stage 3 or, when we're only allowed to have like 2 or 3 mates over, they've got 10 over and you're going like, look, I'm the same. I'm completely over this. We've all had enough, but just push it out for another couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then we can start doing the right thing
just
again. And
do what you're allowed and it's over quicker.
Exactly.
And then we get to where we are now and we can enjoy it.
Now, fortunately, things are on the up. Hopefully they stay that way.
And they would be the first people to complain if another outbreak came and we're in lockdown again.
And
it's like that you're part of the issue.
You're the reason that this has happened.
Correct.
So, yeah.
It's like with my rant last week about the NBA. They'll sook about if there's outbreaks there's an outbreak constantly in America. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though they're part of the problem. So that's some of the problems we had with society, I feel.
Yeah.
During COVID.
Very true. So I'll move on, get away from COVID and
away from that.
Queensland people annoying me. But, love Queensland, great place, but sometimes I just...
Yeah, during this little stretch hasn't been ideal.
It hasn't been ideal.
The relationship might have...
Yeah. All right, well, this is sort of a basic one. If you're going to go, say, and buy some Thai food and you're going to bring it back...
Where's this going? Yeah.
And you're going to bring it back to the Nash, Jerv, Tish, Will and Willa household.
Yeah.
What do you call it? If you're going to go and pick it up and bring it back, what do you call it?
Pick up?
No, but like, what would you call the food? Like it's you've gone to grab Thai food.
Takeaway.
Correct. I don't like it when people say takeout. What's takeout?
That's American.
Exactly. So don't say we're going to have takeout for dinner.
Who said that?
I can't remember who said it. It's halfway. It would have been midway through last year. Someone said we're having takeout. No, you're not having takeout.
We're having takeaway.
Takeaway, yes.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to go grab the Thai
away.
food, you'll take it away. Not taking it out.
What are you taking it out of?
Exactly. So it's to me it's takeaway. I don't like it when people say takeout.
Okay. Yeah.
So
all right, I've got one straight away. Yeah, it's back.
Yep.
Do you call dinner or tea?
Dinner.
You're a dinner.
It's not tea. Tea is a bloody cup of tea.
Yeah, no, I'm a bit of a tea man sometimes.
I feel like tea is very country. Because I've heard, so my grandma from the country used to say, what time do you want tea?
Okay.
Even my grandpa actually used to live out sort of in the eastern suburbs of Melbourne. Similar thing, tea.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, like, I'm
not sure where the differences are, why there's, why we call it tea. Because, you do think maybe you could be in like a high tea.
Yeah,
you know,
well, it's
English tea,
interesting because that what's for tea. You do hear what's for tea, and instantly you know that's dinner.
Yeah.
But to me,
context,
it's dinner.
okay.
Yeah.
Context is a good one.
Yeah.
So in how you're saying
How
it.
you
So
say it, yeah.
what's for tea?
But I guess, yeah.
What are we having for dinner? Yeah, that if you say
Yeah,
what are
to
we
be
having?
honest, yeah,
What are we
no.
having for tea?
Yeah.
Doesn't sound as good, but what are we having for dinner sounds good.
Yep.
And then what's for tea?
Dad sometimes says it actually thinking
Okay.
about it.
Yeah.
What's for tea? You hear it around.
I'm a bit of probably a 60-40 tea dinner.
I'm more dinner.
You're more dinner.
Prefer dinner.
Maybe there's a country thing.
Well, okay.
Maybe you've unearthed something there.
Could be. Daddy's from the country.
Okay.
So, but if you go to a restaurant, there's not a tea menu, is there? It's a dinner menu.
It's a dinner menu. Yeah, I'll give you that.
So,
yep. And
you
then
never see tea.
a few
from
friends of
7
mine
PM or whatever.
that grew up in Melbourne, their dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah, they see tea as like high tea.
Yeah, no, but that's too bouge. That's too let's go to high tea in Turak. That's no thanks. It's true.
We're not about that.
No,
not at all.
But keeping on the topic of food, I hate it when if you're gonna have people over, right, and you're gonna get chips, for example, and let's just say you've got say 10 to 15 people coming around. Usually there's a couple of bowls of chips.
Mm-hmm.
What flavors?
As in hot chips or
no, like
packets.
Packets.
Yep.
What flavors would you usually get?
Usually maybe an original
No.
salt and vinegar. They got a variety.
No, I hate chips without flavor.
Original's got flavour. It's got salt on it.
No, but that's terrible.
That's good.
There's
it's just
no point
nice and
eating
normal.
it. No, that's trash.
Okay, what are your flavours? I'm probably actually.
I'll take any flavour.
Original salt and vinegar honey soy chicken.
It's just so underwhelming. It's just so underwhelming. You put your hand in the bowl. You go, please be salt and vinegar. Oh, it's salt. Come on.
See, I'm around the original. It's one of my favourites.
No thanks.
What are your?
Well, I'm a salt and
go-tos?
vinegar man, but like, I'll take any flavour. Just give me something.
Like a honey soy chicken.
I'll take that. Sweet chili and sour cream. I'll take that. Pringles. Take that. Doritos. Take that. Just don't give me
good.
plain. Like,
So it's just
I
a
don't
whack.
get it.
Do your friends bring original?
well, no, I feel like whenever you go somewhere, there's always plain. There's always
Because it's got to be there because people like it.
Nah.
There's a divide clearly.
Yeah, well, if I do something, like if I have people over, it's always, I'll usually have a bowl of salt and vinegar, and then maybe honey soy. I feel like every man and their dog likes honey soy.
They're the two staples, I think.
Yeah, Red Rock Deli.
Red Rock Deli.
Yeah, honey soy, Red Rock.
Yeah, correct.
So you can't go
Well,
wrong with
actually, I
that.
will say last week I was told to go down and get a few things from the supermarket and said, get a Red Rock Deli pack of chips, salt and vinegar.
Yep.
Everyone was around that. Felt like that was you can't miss.
No, you can't.
Mm.
That's top quality stuff.
Yeah.
You got another one, or you want me to go again?
No, I want you to go again. I feel like this is your podcast today.
All right,
I'm
it's my
I'm
podcast.
just here.
Oh, this is great.
This is for you.
I'll do this every week. Just shut you up in the corner. All right. Well, if we're going food, speaking of packets of chips and takeaway and stuff like that, how frustrating is it when you go to a park or a public place, usually big events, and sometimes these things overflow. So like where else do you put them? But
the bins.
When people put things on the bin but not in it.
Yeah.
And it's got a handle. It's got handles. It's got a lid. It opens. Put it inside. Don't stick it on the top.
Can't stand it.
Because if I'm going to then put something in, I've got to pick up your item. Otherwise, it's going to go flying onto the ground.
Yep.
So
100%.
Yeah.
It's not hard. And if that bin's full, you got to carry it. Carry it elsewhere. There'll be bins elsewhere.
Exactly.
There's bins everywhere on the street.
And you see it around. There's always a bin with something on the lid.
Yeah.
And it's like, just put it in the bin.
Birds and shit start flocking to it. So, okay, I'll give you one back. So, down in Queenscliff, down on the pier.
Oh, that'd be shocking.
There's a fish and chip shop.
Yep.
And I'll say some of the finest fish and chips I've ever had, right? And there's obviously seagulls around.
Yep.
Okay. And there's signs up everywhere saying, don't throw chips to the seagulls.
Yep.
Of course, there's some little kids throwing chips. It's like, no, fuck off. Okay. You want to say to the parents, bring that kid over here, or let's go whack, okay? Because get the chips out because the seagulls are now flooding around me and I don't want that, okay? You're impacting my meal.
Okay.
And then there's bins just around the corner and they're just overflowing. And so now the seagulls are just flocking to these bins and like borderline attacking each other trying to get these chips. It's like, take them to the bins 100 metres down the road where they're empty. Because now there's just seagulls absolutely everywhere.
Well,
Got to stop. Be better.
Speaking of the seagulls then, like something that really grinds my gears is when you're sitting somewhere and someone decides to launch a chip out onto the sand. Like say you're at the beach.
Yes.
And the seagulls just flock in. And
then they're just looking at you.
Yeah, I know. And that's it. The whole enjoyment of having a scenic dinner by the beach, gone.
Because seagulls are probably fair animals. They're only going to come to you when you entice them They're probably going to steer clear.
And if you get one, you're getting 15 times 3.
You're getting the whole flock.
The whole flock's coming.
There's a big call out.
Yeah,
and they just start flooding there. Get the chips.
Come and get the chips.
Got to stop. Be better, people.
Well, okay. Speaking of hot days when you sort of would tend to go to the beach and obviously have your fish and chips on the sand, Macca's frozen Cokes. So they brought out a new thing where you can add flavours and stuff and all that. Anyway, I was in there the other day. Actually, I was down in Torquay, right? And speaking of things not working, we were down, I think I was down there from Monday to a Wednesday. Yep. And the Macca's in Torquay decides that they're not going to open for 3 days because there's a power outage. Now it's 40 degrees. You just want a bloody $1 frozen.
There's a power outage at the Macca's.
Apparently the Macca's there's a power outage.
Okay.
But it wasn't resolved for a few days.
But no power outage anywhere else?
No. Not that I was aware of.
Interesting.
But it gets me back onto my topic of things like when it's a hot day, nothing seems to work when you want it to.
Yes.
And like then I was about probably maybe a week and a half later. It was hot as again, and we pulled into like a Macca's drive-through in Melbourne. And as I said, they brought out these new flavours that you can mix in. So we go, just have a large frozen Coke with vanilla. Sorry, we can't do that. It's not working. Okay. So who I was with goes, can we just get a large Coke Zero mixed with raspberry? Oh, sorry, the raspberry's not working. And it was sort of like, does anything work? Like, does any of your stuff work?
Macca's is a multi-billion-dollar business.
Yeah.
You've got money.
Oh, definitely.
Fix it. Fix it now.
I mean, it's hard when it's sort of each franchise is sort of...
fix it.
You would think, yeah.
They're all rich.
What I was going to say was, though, like, I feel like whenever it's hot, like, Slurpee things don't work. They always they're just water or...
Yeah.
And then when it's cold, it's amazing. But I guess it's because it's overused and stuff. But
correct.
It's like, surely there's got to be a better system here.
It has to be.
Like, it's hot. Everyone wants a Slurpee.
Yeah. These machines are going to be used to the volume.
Exactly. And they don't work.
The classic, especially in Ballarat, when I was younger, Dad would call through after school. I'll get a little 50-cent cone from Macca's or whatever. Yeah. Call in and hot day and
it wouldn't work.
And a couple 50-cent cones, mate. Sorry, the machine's broken. It's like, well, what's the point in having it?
I reckon the car full of big heads would have been thrilled at the idea of getting
they'd not have thrown the
50-cent cone. They would have loved that.
Fucking hell, man. Yeah, no good.
Very underwhelming.
All right, I've got one for you.
Yep.
Society back to the people answering the phones at some takeaway shops. Specifically fish and chips.
Always too loud or?
No. So I'm a big fan of fish and chips.
Yeah.
Hot chips, I don't eat fish.
Yeah.
So I'm a regular. I'm once, twice a week at least getting hot chips. They're my favourite. So you ring them up and they say, hello. You're like, right. Just $5 of chips, please. You're like, yep. I'm like, that's all, thanks. And they say, no worries. I said, cool. And that's it. That's the whole conversation. No, time frame and how long it'll take.
So then you've sort of got to ask?
No, I'm just, now it's a regular thing. I just know what to expect and I just rock up and they're there.
Yeah.
No number. Once I get there, your number this.
Yeah, yep.
It's like, well, what if I get there and you're busy?
Yeah.
So $5 of chips and then someone else has got them as well. You're going to be some issues there.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's a big problem with some of these takeaway places. Like, I don't think there's a lot of thought that goes into how they prepare things.
No.
It's just like, answer the phone.
Answer.
Yep.
Get the order.
Done. Should be a name.
Our local name
fish and chip shop has a name.
Just a name. Write the name down.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that hard.
So, yeah. All right. We will go on to... well, the list is huge, so...
How much have we taken off so far? Give me quarter or
25%.
So I caught. That's not too bad.
Like, lock yourself in. If you're really going to get through this, you've done well.
Yeah. Piners, we have run out of time, so we're going to end part 1 there. Let Melrose cool down a little bit. Just get his head wrapped around part 2.
There's plenty more to come. So if you've managed to sit through this sort of half hour, there's plenty more to come. So the fume is just, the steam is coming off the ears.
We're just getting started.
And we're just firing up. So there's still going to be, we assume part 2 and part 3, but stay tuned for part 2, I guess.